welcome back. I hope you all are doing fine. I hope you all are going through your studies, through your books. I hope you are updated with your homework and trying to improve your handwriting and make use of these holidays in a creative manner. So do something creative as well as study. Now let us begin the next part of your chapter, Simon Commission. So the next factor which led to the independence of India was Simon Commission. In the earlier episode we had learned about rise of Mahatma Gandhi. We learned about the Rowlatt Act. We learned about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. We learned about the non-cooperation movement. Now it is Simon Commission. The British, what is Simon Commission? So let us come to the Simon Commission. Now let us read about Simon Commission. The British government appointed the Simon Commission to look into the law and order situation in India. The commission, which was headed by Sir John Simon, came to India in 1927. The commission had no Indian member. This was a shock to Indians, who then decided to boycott it. The response in India was immediate and united. The Congress decided to boycott the commission. The boycott turned into a popular movement. The slogan "Go Back Simon" was raised everywhere. Now, when Sir John Simon, commission means a group of people. It may exceed more than 2 people. It may be 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 people. So, Sir John Simon was appointed by the English government from England. He was sent to India because in India the law and order situation was worsening. It was becoming very bad because though Gandhiji had called the Indian masses, though Gandhiji gave a slogan that all of you should get united and let us protest in a non-violent manner. Let us protest. Let us vent out. Let us protest. Protest is just to convey your feelings without making any destruction. But some young people, they were very aggressive and they were burning the police stations. They were sometimes burning the vehicles, killing Englishmen. So, just to see into the law and order, the English government, they had sent Sir John along with few people. That means Simon Commission. When Indians came to know that in that Simon Commission there is no Indian member included, this made the Indians angry. So before his coming, just when he was about to come, the Indians and the masses, masses means a lot of public, in thousands and thousands of number, they came together to protest, to convey that we don't want you, Simon Commission, go back Simon, go back. The police dealt with the protesters very severely. Now when protesters are coming or demonstrators are coming, the police dealt with them very severely, very strictly. Lathi charges were frequent. In Lahore, Lala Lajpat Rai was hit on his chest during one such protest which led to his death. Lahore was a part of Punjab, the then Punjab. So when Lala Lajpat Rai along with a group of people, he was protesting or demonstrating, the Englishman, he had just stuck with a lathi on Lala Lajpat Rai's chest, and afterwards this led to the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. A new group of revolutionaries rose to protest against the tyranny of British. Tyranny, injustice, unjust ways, torturous ways. Meaning of tyranny is torturous ways, unjust ways. They were Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, Aurobindo Ghosh and Chandrasekhar Azad. They decided that enough of injustice had been enforced by the system and wanted to take action. These were not cool and calm that yes sir, please go sir. These leaders were not that type. They were very aggressive, very violent type, and they wanted that you have done enough of injustice to our people. Now it's your turn. You should go back to your home. Told that, enforced by the system, and wanted to take action directly and violently to remove the British unjust British system. So these people, they just wanted to remove the British system from the Indian soil and want to throw it away by hook or by crook. I hope children, you are understanding what I am teaching. Still then, if you have any doubt, please do post your doubt in the WhatsApp group. Before that, kindly go through your chapter, have a glance at your chapter, peacefully, attentively. Still you don't understand, please go through the video and I have explained it in detail. Now the next very important part of the Indian freedom struggle which led to the independence of India was civil disobedience movement. This civil disobedience movement is a big topic. You will learn about these topics in detail in standard 9th and 10th. But still then, you should have a knowledge about prior knowledge before going to your higher classes. So, please listen attentively. Listen peacefully. Civil disobedience movement. The Congress now demanded Purna Swaraj. The Congress, the Indian National Congress. In Congress, then when Congress was formed, many eminent leaders, Gandhiji, Jawaharlal Nehru, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Maulana Azad, and all these, C. Rajagopalachari, even Subhash Chandra Bose, all these people comprised of Indian National Congress. Because all these people came together to tell the problems, to tell the grievances of Indians to British. But British did not hear them. So there were all varieties of leaders. Some were very cool-minded, some were very aggressive. So this was the very important point, civil disobedience. Civil means the mass, common people. Disobedience, not to obey. So now it was the turn of the people that we will not obey the English. Anything, the rule, any regulations, any taxes, nothing we will obey. Now let us read in detail. The Congress now demanded Purna Swaraj. Purna means complete. Swaraj means self-rule. Now the Congress demanded that we want total independence. Purna, our country, we will rule. Who are you? You have come as traders. You had come as traders. You traded and you became master. Now it is our country. Allow us to rule our country. It decided to launch a movement, new movement, led by Gandhiji called the Civil Disobedience Movement. Now, the British were taking out the ways to suppress the Indians. And the Indian leaders were daily searching new methods so that something good should happen to Indians. So in search of this, Gandhiji now started a new thing, and Gandhiji told that he now will start civil disobedience movement. Now, as a whole Indians, we will not obey the English. The movement started with Dandi March, also called the Salt March, on 12th of March 1930, when Gandhiji with his followers set off from the Sabarmati ashram at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. He and some followers headed towards Dandi, a village in the west coast of India, and reached Dandi on 6 April 1930. Here Gandhiji broke the unjust salt law. Producing salt was the British government's monopoly, and they would not allow others to make salt. He started the civil disobedience movement by picking up a handful of salt and mud along the shore. Thus he produced salt technically and protested against the salt law. So nowadays you are getting salt, very nice, free flow, dry free flow, like powder salt you are getting. Earlier, you ask your parents to show you crystalline salt, crystal salt. Earlier it was available in that form. So, salt is available in ample, especially near the seashore, seaside and all, because the seawater is evaporated and salt is extracted from that. These British people, what they did? Now just imagine, you can have your food without any curry, you can have your food without any vegetable, but you cannot have your diet without salt. Salt is a staple ingredient in the diet. The British, what they did? They levied heavy taxes on salt. They introduced, they charged heavy tax on the salt. And salt is such an ingredient that from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich, they will use salt. Now, if I will charge you 1 kilo of salt to 1000 rupees per kilo, is it unjust or not? It is unjust. So what they did, the British levied tax. They levied tax on the salt. Now, it was very problematic for the poor Indians because at that time only a handful of people, Indians, were rich. Maximum people were poor. Now, if they'll pay such high price for salt, then how to eat? They were not getting any vegetables, they were not getting anything other than just if they'll get a little bit of rice to eat, it was more than great for them. Many people were even sleeping hungry. So, what they did, that when the British, they imposed heavy taxes on salt. Now, Gandhiji has started civil disobedience movement. And the first step was, we will not give any tax to the British government for salt. Gandhiji from Sabarmati Ashram with many of his followers, mostly with him was Sarojini Naidu, C. Rajagopalachari, with him was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, known as Frontier Gandhi. You will read about him in the chapters in the higher classes. He is known as Frontier Gandhi. So all these persons, they started a march, and thousands of his followers, they assisted Gandhiji, and from Sabarmati Ashram to a village called Dandi, they went by walking. As they were going, people from villages and cities and towns joined them, and when Gandhiji reached the seashore, there you will see crystalline salt is there. When the sea water evaporates, you will see small crystals of salt remaining there. It is mixed with mud and all, and when it is brought, it is purified. So Gandhiji picked up salt, and from then onwards, he asked the Indians, no need to purchase the British salt and to give heavy taxes, we can produce our own salt. The thing is, children, the concept of a development of a country is, we should use our things. We should use our own made things. Because if we use other, till today, till date also, the change, we have got independence, everything has changed, the economy is changing, and today a very drastic scenario of India has appeared. But if we use our own products, we are benefiting our country. But if we use product of other countries, that means we are making them profitable. They are profiting from us. Just imagine, during Diwali, if a potter is making small earthen lamps, and we are purchasing it from him. Diwali is basically lighting earthen lamps. We are purchasing it. That means when we are purchasing, our money is going to that potter. But when we are purchasing Chinese light, directly or indirectly, it is just coming from China. That means our money is going to China. Our men, he is becoming poor, he is in poverty. We are depriving our person, depriving our fellow Indian, that you don't earn the money, we will give the money to China. Why will we give the money to China? So the thing is, from the day one, Gandhiji told concept that produce your own thing, our own thing. So it is like that. So then Gandhiji produced salt, and he then called upon the people. After that, many such marches were organized, and salt was produced in many parts of the country. So, because making salt was the monopoly. Monopoly means one and only owner, and no one else can make. Only British government was making salt. So, to breaking the law, Gandhiji, as he produced the salt, he broke the law, English law. For that reason, Gandhiji and other prominent leaders were arrested. The Dandi March marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. The Dandi March by Gandhiji, it marked the beginning that English people, now we will not obey you. This is our first civil disobedience work what we did. The movement spread, and the salt laws were challenged in other parts of the country. Salt became the symbol of people's resistance of the government. Now, the salt became the symbol. Those who were producing salt, that means we are not obeying you, English. That means we are telling you that we are not obeying you. Government. In Tamil Nadu, C. Rajagopalachari led similar march from Tiruchirappalli to Vedanarayanam. Sarojini Naidu protested in front of salt depots in Gujarat, because maximum in India, the salt which is supplied all over India is from Gujarat only. So lakhs of people, including a large number of women, participated actively, because these unjust laws were imposed on all. Not the child, the little children were imposed. They felt the problem from English. Women, girls, teenage boys, everyone felt. So everyone participated in this civil disobedience movement. The civil disobedience movement carried forward the unfinished work of non-cooperation movement. So this civil disobedience movement was part of non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation is also not obeying. We will not obey you, not cooperative. Civil disobedience also, we will not cooperative. So there was growing support for India's freedom struggle as reports and photographs of this protest began to appear in newspapers across the world. So newspapers and nowadays TV, radio, and then the social media, these all are the very powerful means of communication throughout the world. Something happens in Israel, something happens in Iran, within no seconds we get the video here. Something happens in India, within no second the video gets viral all over the world. So this all thing happened when Dandi March happened. Then this thing was reported in the papers all over the world. It was written that, see, the British are imposing tax on salt even. What will the poor Indians eat? So to protest against the British, Gandhiji led the salt satyagraha and he was arrested. These things flashed in the newspaper all across the world. The government came down on the protesters harshly. Government came down means the government, they treated those who were protesting, those people who were demonstrating, took part in the protest. They were punishing them, beating them harshly, arresting them, protesters harshly. About 60,000 persons passed through jail during the course of the movement. Nearly 60,000 people were arrested. The Congress was declared an illegal organization. So now the British government said that this Congress is not a good organization, it is a terrorist organization, so it should be banned because it is inciting people to not to obey the government. Inciting, they are just promoting, they are making the people not to obey the government. The Congress withdrew the civil disobedience movement in 1934. Though the movement failed, it had great significance as the civil disobedience movement. The people of civil disobedience movement now wanted total independence, Purna Swaraj. Gandhiji led Dandi March against the suppressive heavy taxation on salt, and the famous salt march happened. And Gandhiji produced salt, he was arrested. Now, the movement was an important step in the progress of the freedom struggle. It was a very important step because now not one, not two, thousands of people came together to produce salt, because this is the main thing, to suffocate a person. So it was an important step in the freedom struggle. It managed to get global attention. It was flashed through the papers worldwide, in radios and paper it was flashed, and now the people from all parts of the world, whether Germany, whether France, whether Sweden, whether England, whether America, everyone came to know that the British are doing these things in India and the Indian people are struggling for their independence. The participation of Muslims was significant. Now there was no India and no Hindu and no Muslim and no Christian. Everyone came together, and Muslims came in large numbers because they were also feeling the problem from British policies. Muslims took part in large numbers. A number of women came in large numbers. This was the main important aspect of the civil disobedience movement. The next point which led to the independence of India was the Quit India movement. Quit India means go from our country. Quit, leave, just leave our country. Go. And just you have come, now go away. Mahatma Gandhi launched after the civil disobedience movement, the next strategy which was planned by Congress or by Mahatma Gandhi launched the Quit India movement in August 1942. We are nearing to independence. This Quit India movement happened in 42. With the famous slogan, do or die. Now, Mahatma Gandhi called the people, because at that time when Mahatma Gandhi used to give a speech, I'll show you the videos which I'm adding from the archives. You'll see people come in huge numbers to listen to these leaders because they were fed up from English and they wanted that what our leaders are telling, we will obey them. People used to come in thousands and thousands of number. You will just see like they are coming like a swarm of bees, they are coming and attending it. So Gandhiji now told there are two options. Either we have to either we have to throw this English from our country, or we have to die, because these people will torture us so much that we will die. Now it is the turn to do or die. Indians were to undertake one last struggle to achieve independence or die in that attempt. There were 12 prominent leaders of the Quit India movement besides Gandhiji. They included Abdul Kalam Azad, Jawaharlal Nehru, G.B. Pant and Vallabhbhai Patel. They were all arrested and put behind bars for 3 years until the end of World War II. Now the world was going through World War II. And English were having double problem. First, to deal with the World War, because they were also participating in World War. Second, the disturbance in India. So to avoid disturbance in India, what they did, they arrested all the prominent leaders of Indian National Congress and put them behind bars, put them in the jail. Now, Indian masses were there, but leaders are in the jail. And England is busy in fighting the Second World War. Large-scale violence followed, which was directed at railway stations, telegraph offices, government buildings and other emblems and institutions in colonial rule. Now, leaders are not there to guide the people. What happened? The people, what they did, they just burned the buildings, they did destruction, they burned the vehicles, and daily they were doing violence, killing some or the other. This was going on. This was mainly due to the absence of prominent leaders to guide and control the people, as they were imprisoned by the British. Britain's place in the world had changed dramatically by the end of the World War II, as it had lost its power by then. Britain, by that time, had lost in the World War. Britain was defeated. The demand for independence could not be ignored anymore. Now Britain understood that we have to free India. Now there is no other way. We have to give them freedom. Enough. Outside we are defeated, in the World War we are defeated. Now, if we will not obey these people, we will be defeated here. The next point, which was responsible and which helped to lead Indians to attain independence, was the creation of Indian National Army. All of us know that Subhash Chandra Bose was the creator of Indian National Army. The Indian National Army was formed by a group of nationalists in 1942 but was dissolved in the same year. The INA was revived again. It was formed by Subhash Chandra Bose in 1943. He was the president of the youth wing of Indian National Congress and did not comply with the non-violent approach. Subhash Chandra Bose was the founder of Indian National Army. Before that, he was in National Congress, but his views were not matching with that of Gandhiji. Gandhiji was having a non-violent approach for independence, whereas Subhash Chandra Bose told that they are killing our people, they are doing so much atrocities. How can we just have a non-violent approach? We have to approach in different manner, and thus the views of Gandhiji and Subhash Chandra Bose did not comply, did not match. He formed the Indian National Army with the objective to launch and to conduct the struggle that will bring about an end to British rule. Because there is a small story behind this. Subhash Chandra Bose, what he did, he just held a protest. He demonstrated that without the permission of Indians, how could the British declare that India is in the Second World War? So this is without our permission. How can you tell us that we are in the war? We don't want war. But Britishers, they put him in jail. After putting him in jail, when he was released, CID was just following him. So he escaped from Afghanistan to Germany. From there, he called all the Indians who had expatriate Indians, those who had run away from India due to British atrocities. They gathered, and from there he formed a small army, and then he went to Japan. There in Japan, the Japanese people or the Japanese king helped him. Again he formed the army, and through Burma, through Myanmar, Burma, Singapore, he marched. He came to India. He gave two important slogans. Jai Hind. This is Jai Hind means great. India is great. Jai means great. Hind means India. And give me blood, I shall give you freedom. Give me blood, I shall give you freedom. That doesn't mean that he told the Indians that you offer me your blood in a bowl. No. You just be ready to sacrifice yourself. Like this also the British were going to kill Indians. So he told that the other way also they will torture you and make you to die. Better let us struggle to throw these people out of India. The Indian National Army took a military campaign against the British for freedom of India. And then the Indian National Army, headed by Subhash Chandra Bose, then they had a very long clash and struggle with the British, and they also helped somewhere in achieving Indian independence. Subhash Chandra Bose, how he died, some say he died by plane crash, some say that he was still in Himalayas. It is a mystery unsolved till death. Neither of his family members know how he died, neither historians know, but some say that he has died in plane crash, some say he was there in Himalayas and died after old age.
Bose took control of the Indian National Army and was able to reorganize the fledgling army and gathered massive support among the expatriate Indian population in Southeast Asia. Spoken as a part of a motivational speech for the Indian National Army at a rally of Indians in Burma on July 4, 1944, Bose's most famous quote was, "Give me blood and I shall give you freedom." In this, he urged the people of India to join him in his fight against the British Raj.
India achieves independence. Now the final. After a long struggle of so many years, you can say 200 to 300 years of struggle, finally India achieved freedom. But people were not happy. They gave independence to India. The British, they freed India. But I will just imagine, I have tied you in chains and kept as a prisoner in my house for 10 or 12 years. You have not seen your parents, not given good food, and you are tied in chains. But one day I will tell your parents that I am going to release your child. And when I am going to release your child will be without one arm is cut, one leg is cut, one ear is cut. Then will the parents be happy? India was a big land, big mass of land. But earlier, partition of Bengal was done, so one part of India had gone. Now, before giving independence to India, they had just partitioned Punjab and made Pakistan and India. In 1947, Lord Mountbatten became the Viceroy of India. It was decided that now India would get freedom. Now everything was settled. Now it was finalized that now we should give freedom to India. Lord Mountbatten had come. But before leaving India, the British had decided to divide India into two countries, India and Pakistan. This was done because Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leader of Muslim League, felt that after independence, the Indian National Congress would give preference to the Hindus. Because India is mostly a Hindu majority country. So some Muslim leaders felt that after independence, Muslims will not be given representation. Whereas it was wrong. During the Congress also, and during earlier we have read that in the formation of committees also, people from all the communities were gathered. So This was done because Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leader of Muslim League, felt that after independence, the Indian National Congress would give preference to the Hindus. This thought led to the demand of separate nations. Now this made the Muslim leaders that we should have a separate Muslim nation. Pakistan was officially announced as an independent nation on 14th August 1947. So on 14th of August 1947, Pakistan came into origin and a new country, Pakistan, was born. Free Pakistan, free of India, free of British, was born. At the stroke of the midnight hour on 15th August 1947, India was declared as an independent nation. So 15th August 1947, midnight 12 o'clock in the morning, midnight means it is considered as morning, the British left India. India then became a free country. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the first President of independent India. A series of events followed the momentous day of 15th of August. Though India got independence, none of the leaders were happy because with independence came the pain of separation, pain of formation of Pakistan. These events strengthened India's position as free nation. Some turning points in the political history of India up to 1952 were, after India got independence, in 1947 we got independence, in 48 Mahatma Gandhi was killed. He was assassinated by Nathuram Godse. Then in 1950, our constitution came into force. The main person or the architect behind the constitution was Dada Saheb Ambedkar. And then in 1952, the first general elections were held. Children, have a glance at the snippet. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, along with Aga Khan III and Khwaja Salimullah, founded. These leaders thought that when India will be free, then the Muslims will be ignored. So they advocated for a free Muslim country, founded the All India Muslim League. They founded a new party. They did not join the Congress and they found All India Muslim League in the year 1906. Jinnah was also known as Qaid-e-Azam. He was the first Prime Minister of Pakistan and then he is known as Qaid-e-Azam. He passed away in 1948 after the prolonged illness. He was ill and due to illness he passed away.